if you can't attract a following before you crowdfund, then there's a number of things that might be up. Either you've got a product that people aren't interested in, or that it can't be pitched in the right way to make people interested, or you've got a skills gap in your team. And if you don't have someone in sales and marketing, then you're not going to be successful in business until you fill in that gap. So therefore, if you figure that out before your crowdfund, if you can't make it a success out of the crowdfund, then you've definitely got a skills gap that needs to be filled. Or it's just a product that isn't in the market. So, that's the whole removing risk stuff. So it makes you get everything lined up front to launch, market, raise finance all at the same time.
Well, I'm one of the directors of a company called Canopto Limited. We raised 35,000 through CrowdFunding a few weeks ago. About 75–80% of that was from people we didn't know. We did very little marketing. We weren't in any press. There's another group of guys that are on there a few weeks ago. They've been in the Guardian, I think, and they've raised next to nothing. So I think actually,
what's the difference in your opinion?
The business plan,
and the business plan. Yeah.
It's the product sold itself.
Yeah.
And that is key. And again, it comes back to the fact that if your product's good, you'll get your money through crowdsourcing. No doubt. If the product's no good, then you've got to think again.
So, the popular crowdfunding sites are already getting a lot of traffic.
Yes.
A lot more press. A lot of people talking about it. So they're getting the traffic, and then they're going to pick out the better opportunities that are actually on the site.
I think it's not just the better opportunities. I think it's the ones that are easy to explain as well, because there might be, and if you have a consumer-facing product or service, then even better because your investors become your customers.
I just want to know what happens once you get all this bits of money from loads of people. If anything goes wrong, are you answerable to all of them? Or?
Yeah, well, I can tell you what we do. Everyone that signs up to our platform has a social capital score. And if you don't deliver upon your promise, your social capital score will get caned. It's all about responsibility. You really have to think through what you're promising people you can deliver. And if you don't deliver it, then make sure you put together a contingency plan for communicating with the people that have invested or donated to you so that you can compensate them. And that's the same in business. Everything in business, if you don't deliver upon your promise, then you're dead in the pond. So.
The question was, what happens if you can't pay it back, or you can't deliver a return on the investment?
Yeah.
People are taking that risk, and they are risking all of that money, and they may get no return.
Is there a legal reason why Kickstarter isn't in the UK yet?
It's coming.
It's coming.
It is coming, is it?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
No, we're very happy Kickstarter comes in because it helps to create the market, and they're spending like $10 million on educating. That's great, and we're right on the coattails of that. But I would like to sort of wave the flag here for GB because although in America you talked earlier about it being the start of crowdfunding, and it happened over there and it's got really big and they started to pass laws for it, but we are in the UK the first people to actually do equity-based crowdfunding in the world. So but the innovation does come from the UK, and we are ahead, and it's just a question now of making sure we get everybody behind it so that it doesn't get killed in the water from a regulatory point of view, which is what we spend our time doing. You've got a platform that's as established as Kickstarter. You're competing with many more projects, and you've got to look at what the success rates are, because you might find that you're better off if you've got a niche product going on a niche crowdfunding site, because crowdfunding is going to get crowded, let's face it. And I don't think it will be a dominance of just one big player in the market as there is with eBay and Google. I think there will be a number of big players in crowdfunding that will actually cater for different needs in the market. And ours is very clear. Ours is about businesses that create a social or an environmental return as well as a financial return. And it's great for the entrepreneur because they'll be able to sit back and say, okay, which one best fits my model?
Given all of our interests and the fact that the barrier to investment is so low, £10, I like the sound of that, yeah, I'll help them out. Is it a sort of, I want to invest in this business, or is it, I like that idea, they deserve to succeed, I'll help them out with £10?
Can I say we funded ourselves on our own platform this time round. So I've done angel funding, I've done VC funding, I've done, been involved in the public companies. Almost all of the investors that invested in us, they were interested in a return. I was very clear about what our exit strategy is, what the pitch is. It's a 15-year game. They weren't, it's a long-term game. I want to turn it into a public company. But all of them invested because they were other entrepreneurs that wanted to be affiliated with Bank to the Future, and they saw a side benefit to their business of being affiliated with Bank to the Future. So even if they didn't get their returns, they still had the problem. You know, they still invested for an alternative reason.
Another question here.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, I think if I went onto a crowdfund and I had 10 or 20 quid left over at the end of the month, and I saw a product and I think I quite like that, I'm gonna put it in, then that's fine. But I think the FSA might think that that's a stupid idea, and then I'm an idiot because most startups fail, and therefore I'm going to lose all my money.
Yeah, it's interesting. You have to be, they call it a high net worth or sophisticated investor to actually make investments and not fall foul of the FSA, or you have to self-certify. So as if you have to go to public school to be clever, or you have to be rich to make shrewd decisions. And I disagree with that entirely. I mean, we're FSA compliant, but it's not. It's not a regulation that's fit for purpose, and it's very difficult for a regulator to come up with ways to regulate innovative and groundbreaking businesses, because you can't innovate or you can't regulate what you haven't thought about. So we're always kind of playing catch up. But Simon and I get involved in things like the Red Tape Challenge at number 10. We're in conversations with the FSA. We're working with, we had a roundtable meeting this week with Harriet Harman, and it was very pro crowdfunding. And the FSA, the intent there is absolutely right. It is there to protect investors. If you think about it, there's a reason for it. They don't want people to get ripped off with scam ideas that get funded and people just take the money and bugger off to the Cayman Islands. It's there for a reason. But I think you've got to balance that with not having a nanny state and empowering people and allowing people to make decisions for themselves.
And if you misbehave, you'll soon get known.
Yes,
so that is a fact.
That is actually a really important point. So we spent a lot of time integrating with all the different social media sites, with traditional credit scoring, all that type of stuff. And me as a business person, my biggest concern, really, as a business person, is what people say about us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. If you're getting investors, you want to know who they are.
In an ideal world, what would the regulation be in your mind? And if you've had that conversation, how have you kind of portrayed what you think you'd like to see?
Can we say we're very collaborative, and we meet all of the crowdfunding platforms. We all meet once a month. We all compete, but we all make sure that we keep the industry honest.
Yeah, because we all we think there's a huge opportunity here for business and for entrepreneurs, and we can work collaboratively. And so what we've done is we kind of formed an informal, I hate to use the word association, I suppose there's a body, a group of crowdfunding platforms that encompasses all of the different types that we've talked about today, to come up with a code of practice that we all believe in and that we agree with and that we adhere to. And we want to go to the FSA and get them to regulate based on our code, rather than take the FSA regulations and try and change that to fit something which would be the wrong way to do it.
What's that code called?
But I think we've got to take a different view of risk, because if I want to go on, I can either go and put it on a night at 3 o'clock at Doncaster when I've had a few drinks, or I can have a go at this if I want. And I know we don't want to compare it with gambling, but it's my money and I should be able to invest as I see fit. What you've got to do is make sure that as part of the website that we're actually making that clear, that there is risk involved, and there is, and there's enough, get enough information to make your decision, but we've got to be clear about who's making the decision. Yeah. And I just feel there's a real risk that actually we'll be driven to a point where we always have been, if we let the FSA drive.
No, but my dead body.
How can we support you? How can we keep in touch with what you're doing?
Well, you can...
Can you post that at the next meeting, please?
Yeah, I'll give you my email address, karen@crowdmission.com. If you've got any questions, or you want to call me or speak to me about crowdfunding, if there's anything I can do to help you, if there's anything you think you want to do to help us, then fantastic. The cost is your time and your effort in putting together a investment investable pitch, basically. What happens is you have an investment target, and 5% of what you raise, and generally it's 5%, goes to the platform operator to cover their costs.
Don't forget the importance of combining online and offline. Almost all of our investors were people that I'd met face to face. And so offline is still bloody important to combine with online.
Yeah.
And sorry, just one other thing is, before you do go online to do crowdfunding, it's good if you've already raised some funding through family and friends, because it shows that people are backing you. So you don't really want to go on and be live with your pitch and stay at zero. for the first couple of weeks. I would have thought that would be pretty awful.